to what extent do you think that early experience has formed you as a historian since?
Well, it made me curious. I mean, I wanted to understand where this force that made me unwelcome in the town I was from, the town my grandparents were from.
A little bit of Geordie there, or it's just about hear it.
After a couple of pints, it's stronger, I assure you. But I wanted to understand this force. When I was a kid, this is unbelievable now to younger Black Britons, the Black and White Minstrel Show was still on TV. And I didn't know what this was.
And Lenny Henry, who was on the show earlier on, was in it, as it happens.
But I want to know where that came from. And so it made me curious about history.
But people have fought back against the prejudice as well. And you were in the playground with the young Paul Gascoigne, I read.
He was in my sister's year at school, yeah.
And he pulled you up after a fracas.
I have one memory of Paul Gascoigne, which is him picking me up because I'd been knocked over. He was one of the kind of tougher kids in the playground who wasn't racist. And that's my only memory of him, and it's a good one.
So when we start to rethink our history, and this programme is all about rethinking our history and seeing people slightly differently, and you've got figures like Attlee and Churchill, and you're going further back, you've got Rhodes and so on, the great controversy in Oxford, you suggested not taking the statues down, but putting extra information at the bottom of the statues. Can you explain what you want to see?
Well, I don't think statues are history. Whenever we talk about this debate about statues, people say you're trying to rewrite history. We don't learn history through statues. Statues are about memorialising and heroicising men, and it almost is men, but only one side of their story. You don't get a full picture of Cecil Rhodes in that statue in Oxford. What you get is a heroic version. I think those statues need contextualisation, and they need the other side of the ledger put alongside the heroic image.
It's quite provocative, though. Here's Winston Churchill, great war leader, but also a racist.
But it's true. I'm sorry. I'm on record as saying I'm really glad Churchill won in that struggle against Halifax in 1940. I fear, as the documents suggest, that Halifax would have sought a peace deal with Hitler. But at the same time, this is a man who wouldn't accept the transportation of food aid desperately needed to Bengal. This is a man who expressed an awful lot of racial views, anti-Semitic views throughout his career. Both of those figures are true. Both of those Churchills are real. And a mature approach to our history is to see the heroic actions, but also the lamentable attitudes.
Dave Dollars, fascinating to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for that.